Hey everybody, welcome along to my video. This is my new series I'm going to do. It's following on from the Toys of the 1970s video that I did. It proved to be quite popular, so I thought I'd try a different tactic. I'm going to continue that series, and it's going to go right through the decades. It's not the end of that, but I've also got a lot of computer magazines on disc as well, PDFs of those. All the ones I used to read, and some of the ones I've never read actually, to be honest. I just like to collect them because obviously it's nostalgia. It's easier to have it than having the magazines lying around, although obviously I've got a few lying around the house somewhere. But you know, I thought it would be fun to go through a few of the magazines. I'm looking forward to when we get into the Argos catalogues of looking through the home computer systems in there, but I figured we'll cut out the middleman here and I'm going to work my way through. I'll probably do the Crash magazines first, or I may alternate and do like an issue from Crash and then an issue from Zap, if you're familiar with that, Zap 64, and try and cover all the consoles, you know, as we get to them in time. That's the plan anyway. There's quite a few to go through. I believe there's 90 odd, I think, of Crash, 98 maybe. I think there's over 100 of Zap 64, so you know, there's a lot to go through. But this is a magazine I used to buy when I was a kid. Basically, this is the first one. I used to get my pocket money. It originally, as you can see at the top there, let's just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, February 84, issue number 1, 75 pence. Wow, that was probably a bit more than pocket money I used to get back in them days. I mean, I was only, for most of 1984, I was 10 years old. So, you know, I don't know if I would have got 75p or not, but I certainly used to spend my pocket money on it. I think it was a monthly, yeah, the monthly, it says on the title, monthly Spectrum software review. And yeah, this was where it was all at, where I used to find out, because obviously, again, as we refer to, or I referred to quite a lot in the last video with about the 70s, you know, we didn't have internet back in those days, so it's hard to know when the new games were coming out. The only way you'd know is obviously you'd see them in the shops, or you know, you'd read a magazine and you'd get a lot of release dates, and obviously you'd get reviews on the games. Nowadays obviously you can just go online and find out release dates. You can watch videos on this very platform, YouTube obviously, and find out all about your games in advance. But this is the way you used to do it back in the day, and Crash was the bible for ZX Spectrum. I mean, there was a few magazines. I've also got Your Sinclair, I think it was Your Sinclair or Sinclair User. Might be Sinclair User actually, that I've also got on disc, which again I'll be going through at some point. And yeah, I just thought it's an interesting series to make. I'm gonna have a look actually, see if it is. Yeah, it's Your Sinclair. That's the one I got. That's the complete collection. Doesn't tell me. Zap 64's got 107, so that might be one I'll be doing. I've got Sega one as well, Commodore Amiga. I've also got the computer and video games magazines, if you're aware of those, which basically cover the multi-formats. So that'll be something as well I'll probably go through at some point. Anyway, let's get started. So as we can see, this is the cover. Not quite sure what game. It just looks like regular Space Invaders, doesn't it, in his eyes there? Not sure if that's supposed to be anybody. Let's see. There's no clues on the front there. Look at that. It says 400 games reviewed. What my plan is, on some of the games that I like, I can't do it with every game because it's going to be about a 5-hour video, but some of the games that I do like in the magazine, I will put some gameplay footage in, something that I've recorded, just a quick minute or 30 seconds or something, just so if you've never played the games for some reason, obviously you can see the games in action. You know, it's always nice. I mean, you get an idea with screenshots, but it's always nice to see the game going, isn't it? So I'll probably do that at some point in the video. So I'm not sure, because I'm recording the video first, then I'll be editing it and probably putting the gameplay footage in. I'm not sure whether to announce it or not. So if you suddenly get a random shot of a game up there and I haven't announced it, I do apologise. So there's only so much you can do when you're one person making your own videos. You know what it's like, you fellow YouTubers out there, you know. Sometimes you come up with these plans after you've recorded the video and you have to work it in. So my plan is to put some gameplay footage in. If I do announce it, if I remember to do that, then you'll know it's coming. If not, then like when I did the 70s video and I put the Action Man and Toys R Us adverts and that was completely off the cuff because I come up with that idea afterwards. So that's why there was no introduction to those, you know. So I'm just warning you in advance. And, I like to be as professional as possible, and I'm aware that I'm in no way professional, quite frankly. So there you go. Okay, so I think we've had enough of the cover there. You can see what is coming up inside. There are going to be 400 game reviews. Obviously, I am not going to have gameplay footage of 400 games, or you will be here till doomsday. And I don't think we really want to keep you that long, so let's go through. Okay, yeah, so they sometimes had other things inside. There we go. Choosing the game for the mountain available is a difficult job, especially when everyone claims to produce the best on the market. How can you tell the best from the rest? Okay, so little tips. Oh, this is just an advert. This is an advert for games, isn't it? Cosmos Halls of Things, that was a game. So I don't think I had any of these. I won't rush through too much in case you did, but obviously if I do rush past anyone, you can always pause the video. Actually, what I'm going to do is zoom in a bit for you. Here, let's get a closer. I'm going to go one more. I'm going to go one more. Yeah, okay. There we go. Because I want you to be able to see it. If you really want to read it, you can pause the video, obviously, at certain points. Yeah, were these CDS games? No, it's not CDS. Can't remember who made these. Crystal Computing. I can see it on the side there. There we go. Don't think I had any of those games. What we got here? Step into the third dimension. New generation software. No, once again, none of them look familiar. Oh, 3D Defender. I guess that must be Defender. That one there. Okay, yeah, I never had any of those. Wow, look at the prices. Oh, here we go. Corridors of Genon, $5.95. Not in 3D, $5.95. 3D Tunnel, $5.95. Escape for 16K Spectrum. I forgot there was a 16K Spectrum actually. Monster Maze and 3D Defender, all $4.95. Okay. Oh look, and there's the shops used to sell them. WH Smith's, Boots, Menzies, Spectrum Group, HMV. There's some memories for you right there. What we got here then? Super new release for Dragon 32. Oh, we've got some Spectrum games on there. Dracula's Revenge. Soft Tech. I must confess, I don't remember those. Oh, we got more shops there. Look at that, Tandy. Do you remember Tandy? Selfridges. There's a few shops that are still going. Right, so here we go. Here's the most important thing. We're going to see what we got in the magazine. Issue number 1. So, features. That's an interesting name for a feature, isn't it? They're Brer Rabbit and the Killer Ape of Leicestershire. Very strange. Okay, I'm just going to flick through. If obviously at any point you want to read more, just pause the video. It's probably the best way. I'm going to probably have a quick look at the videos. That's what we want to do. Sorry, the reviews. Reviews in this issue include games fresh from programmers of Ultimate, Silversoft, Quicksilver, Virgin, Thorny MI, Britannia, Automata. I'll get it right a minute. Workforce, Lotus Soft, and many others. Well, I recognise a few of those, but not that many. Obviously, you had an advertisers index as well. It's quite cool actually, because if you knew there was a company like, I used to buy a lot of games from Activision, US Gold, that sort of thing. So you could go straight to an advert for a software company if you wanted to, that would obviously sell the games that you liked. Basically, I liked Epic's games as well. They did like the summer games, winter games. They did Mission Impossible. So they were good ones to go to. I don't see many adverts there of companies that I recognise. Funny enough, CDS are there, who I mentioned earlier. I think Martech Durell, I do remember that. Durell, I'm sure, did Saboteur, if I remember correctly. Micromania, I recognise as well. Silversoft, there's a few. Oh, here's the CDS programmed advert. Yeah. Spectrum Safari, brand new adventure from CDS. With a scary looking snake on it. French is fun. Okay. Oh, Magic Minis, that's a game I recognise. I do remember that. Wow, Boots, Smiths and Menzies all got a mention quite frequently, didn't they, in these adverts? There we go. What's the next one? Attention Earthlings. Oh, these are books. Oh, look at that. The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Now that's one I do remember. Didn't know you had a software tape for it actually though. I had the book. It's one of those choose your own adventures if you're not familiar. If you know the format of choose your own adventure, basically obviously you turn to a page in the book, or you'd start reading page 1 obviously, and then it would give you 2 choices or 3 sometimes of go left, go right, whatever, and obviously it would give you a different page for each decision you made. And basically you did choose your own adventure, and they were great fun reading them as kids. I absolutely loved them. Well, looks like we're getting to our first review then, which is 3D Death Chase. What a game that is. And this is for some reason printed a little bit smaller, so if I think they're trying to get the review on one page, I'm sure. I'll zoom in a bit so we can read this one. Don't think you need the top. That's obviously the title screen. I think we can skip through that. £6.95. Which I probably need to zoom out a little bit on that. That'll probably do, yeah. Get it centralised. You can't even read that, can you? You have to bear with me. I am fine-tuning this experience. It's not easy when it leaps from like 2 to 300%. If it could go down a little bit more less, that would be really helpful. But no. Okay, well if we're going to read it anyway, you can read it from there, I'm sure. I'm not going to read all the way through it, but for those of you who may not be familiar with this game, basically I believe you were a cop and it was set in the future, and you had to chase criminals. Basically, I think that's basically the premise of it. You would chase criminals through a forest on a bike, and I think, from what I can remember, there were other things in the background, not just bikes. You'd get like helicopters and stuff like that you could, but basically when you're driving the bike, you could shoot a gun and you'd get criminals on bikes driving through the trees in front of you, and your object was to shoot the criminals and anything else that was sort of like up in the distance at you, and obviously avoid the trees. You would also do night patrol as well, so the backgrounds would change to a darker blue, or I think it was dark blue, maybe black, and you would drive through at night as well. Anyway, take a look at the footage and you can see the game in action. So there it is. That's what it looks like, and I've actually recorded another video which I've been working on for months, and I still haven't managed to get it finished yet because it's very complicated. I'm trying to go all out on this one basically, and include loads of game footage and captions and all sorts of stuff. I think I've been over ambitious, but basically what I was planning to do was a top 10 from each decade, starting in 1983. I've recorded all the footage, I've edited it all together. I've just got to do some commentary on it and stuff like that, or the over sort of like dubbing of the descriptions and everything like that. And yeah, and this game features in my top 10. I think it's about number 7 or 8, something like that. So yeah, I do rate it very highly, this one, and I believe they rated it very highly too. Let me zoom out again so we can get a little look. There you go. They're the sort of ratings you used to get. So quite comprehensive ratings really. You don't just get like an overall percentage. You've got use of computer 90, graphics 92. Well, you can see the graphics there. It's for the time they were good. I mean, they don't look nothing special now probably, but yep, for the time very good. Playability 95, yep, good. Getting started 85. I'm not quite sure why they think that is, unless there's not many instructions maybe. Addictive quality is 98. You can't get much better than that, can you? Value for money 92, because I believe it was $6.95, yeah. And an overall rating of 92%. they would usually do crash smashes. Well, this is game of the month, so I guess they didn't probably need to do it on that. But I think if a game got a certain decent score, it would be a crash smash, from what I can remember. And they've got other comments here as well. Obviously, keyboard positions, very good. It's telling you all the keys. It tells you the joystick you could use, which was a Kempston in this case. Very responsive keyboards, use of colour good, graphics superb, sound very good. Skill levels, each sector gets harder, and 3 lives. So this very comprehensive. There is criticism as well in there, so it's, you know, it's just not just a review. Obviously, I won't read it all because we'll be here forever. But obviously, if you want to read the review, pause the video. I'll give you one more screenshot of the whole thing, so you can probably make it out from the whole thing there. And yeah, feel free, knock yourself out. Okay, I think we've got to zoom out again to move on to the next page. But Death Chase, very, very good game. And I hope you enjoyed the little bit of footage I included there. And yeah, go check it out if you can. It's well worth it. If you've never played it before, definitely worth checking out. Okay, let's move along. What have we got here? So this is an editorial. So basically, you know, again, I'm not going to read it all for you. I'll try and get you a full screen shot. So if you want to read it for yourself, you can do. Here we go, and then that's the rest of it there. So we'll move along. What have we got here? More editorial there. How the ratings work. Oh, there you go. So that's cool. So that explains, and we'll zoom in on that one for you so you can see it. That explains how their ratings actually work on the games. I think that's very cool actually. Now that they've done that, they've included that in there. So there you go. I'll leave that up there for you to read for a few seconds, and it will, yeah, it will tell you. Look at that. Under 30%, a waste of time. 31% 40. Generally poor, but may appeal for some. 41 to 50 is average. 51 55 reasonable if type of game enjoyed. 56 to 60 good on most counts. 61 to 70 generally recommended. 79 to 80 highly recommended. 81 to 90 Knight of the British Empire. And above 90% words fail. So as we just seen, Death Chase gets a words fail. So there you go. Can't get bigger praise than that, can you really? Okay, let's move along. What have we got here? Another advert. Blabby computer games. What is Killer Kong? Barmy Burgers. I must admit, I don't think I'm aware of any of these games, to be fair. High-Rise Harry. They look like they went for funny names, didn't they? High-Rise Harry, Barmy Burgers, Killer Kong, Gotcha, Plug It, Dodo. Dodo looks like it's in for a very, very rude awakening in a second, doesn't it? Anyway, well, let's move on. Here we go. First prize winner. I'm not quite sure what that is. Odyssey 1. It's a game I am not familiar with, to be fair. Looks like this might go over 2 pages. Let's zoom out a bit. Oh no, it's basically it's cut that page off. It'll probably be below. So there we go. So what's it? Well, it's got 72%. This one. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Oh look, Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I was just talking about that. Yeah. So obviously, if you want to read that one, you've got. I think you've got enough screenshots of the review that you can muddle through and read that. And then we've got Warlock of Firetop Mountain here. I'll have to check that out because I don't think I've ever played a computer game version of that. I used to love the book. Scroll back up just there. I don't believe I got the computer game version. I know I got the book obviously, but it looks like you would have got the game with the book, but I don't know. What we got? Criticism, comments. What did it get overall? Well, 73% for Warlock of Firetop Mountain. That's not bad, is it? And we've got another one here, Zaxxon. It's a Zaxxon copy, yeah, Zaxxon, yeah. Okay, I kind of figured it might be. Again, 74%. That's not bad, is it really? That's a screenshot. We've got Gotcha, one of the blabby ones. Blabby? I'm not sure who they are. What did that one get? 77. They're quite generous on their marks, aren't they? I've noticed. Well, Mission Impossible. Yeah, that's not. That's not the Mission Impossible we know, is it really? I know obviously the game itself from Epix is called Impossible Mission, but Mission Impossible, obviously the series of movies. This is a lander game. You must guide your shuttlecraft down from the mothership to the planet's surface. No, not aware of this one. It got 80% though, so must have been quite a good game. Barrel Drop. Wow. Another one I'm not familiar with. 65%. So there's your pause on that screen. Give you that too. There you go, so you can read that if you want to. Let's move along. I remember Bugaboo the Flea actually, that's one I do remember. I'm sure that it came in a purplish sort of looking, like a lilac looking case. I think most of the Quicksilver games did actually. $6.95 for that. Let's have a little look. Some screenshots. 92% for Bugaboo the Flea. Okay, they're kind of comparing it there to, well, graphically they're comparing it to Manic Miner anyway, so oh, there's more Bugaboo down there as well for you. Now there's a game on the right I can see, which is one that I played a lot. Soft Solid 3D's Ant Attack, or 3D Ant Attack, sorry. Soft Solid 3D Ant Attack. Again with these 3D games, sometimes they would just call it Ant Attack, sometimes people would call them 3D Ant Attack. The same with Death Chase, some people would call it Death Chase, some people call it 3D Death Chase. But I remember it as just Ant Attack, personally speaking. But yeah, that's another great game, and here's a little clip for you. I hope you enjoyed that clip, and I'm just going to scroll down and I'm assuming we find the end of that review somewhere. Page 16, I don't know what that is there. Oh, there we go. So that's just a random advert that seems to have stuck in the middle there. I don't think there's anything we need to see there particularly. No. So this is the rest of Ant Attack. Here we go. Pages look a bit of a different colour, don't they? Right. There you go, you'll recognise some of the screenshots now after seeing the game. I'm glad I showed you the game actually, because that's not exactly very clear, is it? Yeah. It's a very hard game. I found it harder than I looked at, 85%. Spectron. Not familiar with this. Swarmers and speeders which home in on you. No, I don't know this one. What did we see on this one? 51%. That may be that. Oh no, hang on. No. Sorry, 76%. This is where it gets confusing when you look at it zoomed in. Let's try and zoom out a little bit again, because I'm trying to work out which bit goes with which. So next one we've got is Firehawks down here, which again is another game I'm not aware of. And that is bringing in 51%. Bowls, okay. I don't think I've ever played a bowls game on a computer before. That's definitely a first. We'll zoom in a bit now so we know where we are. £4.50. Only 57% on that one. Yeah, I can't imagine a bowls game is ever going to be one that blows you away, really. Again, I'll do a few pauses so you can have a read of it if you're into bowls. What's it say about it? Fair unless you enjoy quiet sports simulations. Well, you know, sometimes do. Right, reviews continue on 27, so we might be getting a few adverts or articles here. I love that. At last, a joystick that works. Oh, I see. Yeah, in the sense of, you know, the design, not the fact that it actually works. That's a funny looking joystick, that, isn't it? 1K onboard memory. Okay. Cambridge computing joystick. I wonder what that would come up as though on the computer, because I know you've got Sinclair joysticks and you've got Cursor ones and Kempston. Cambridge computing, I can't say I've ever heard of that. Excuse me, just had to take a drink now. Special Christmas offer. 2 for £60. That's a lot of money, isn't it? I would have thought they'd be a lot cheaper than that. Oh, what's that? Okay. That's weird, that tape, isn't it? Easy to use program enables interface to work on all software, keeps a record of all your games, so you only need to tell about each game once. Okay. Not quite sure what that means actually. I just want to get my head around that. Okay, that's a weird picture. I'll zoom out a bit here. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is an article. Insane. Don't know what that's all about, to be honest. I'll allow you to read that at your own leisure time. I'll zoom in for you in case you want to read it. Let's see. That's it. That's all on the same page. Let's go. Oh, it carries on to the next page. Here we go. That's very dodgy looking joystick there, isn't it? Design wise, yeah. I'm not going to say what it resembles. I don't want to not be a family channel that anybody could watch, but yeah, it's a very unfortunate looking shape, really. Okay, I'm trying to give you the rest of the article. It's just not fitting on one page, to be honest with you. Just scroll down. I'm sure there ain't many of you that are reading this, to be fair. More picture. They've got the Cambridge joystick, funnily enough. There it is. Maybe they're reviewing the joysticks. Maybe zoom out one more. There we go. You can see all that now. What we got here? Oh my goodness me. This one's going to be a bit of a struggle, isn't it? I hope nobody's interested in this because this is going to be really hard to get on the page. There we go. If I start down here, and obviously you just have to flip the picture because there's just no way I can flip it myself. I suppose I could, but I don't want to start getting into all this technicality, so I'll put it up in bits. You can read that at your own leisure. It's obviously comparing the prices and everything back in those days. Funny way they display that, isn't it? But then I guess it's the only way they could fit it into the magazine. Anyway, I apologise if you are interested in that and I didn't quite do it justice in getting it on the screen, but you know, quite frankly, life's too short. I've still got 70 or 80 odd pages to go through. I really don't want this to be like a 2-hour video, so we'll keep it as short as we can. It's mostly about getting to the game reviews more than anything. The features are another matter. I'm pretty sure you can get copies of these magazines on the internet anyway, so if you are interested in them, I'm sure you could find a PDF file like I have here. Here you go, you've got various articles here. More here. I used to do competitions as well. I actually won one competition. I still can't remember actually whether it was in Crash or Your Sinclair. So hopefully when we're going through one of these issues, we're going to come across my name in one of them. I won a Scooby-Doo colouring competition. I won a copy of Scooby-Doo on the ZX Spectrum. And my name was printed in the magazine. Can't actually remember which one it was. I've been looking for ages for the magazine, so I've only just bought the discs, so I haven't gone through them all yet, but it'd be quite interesting if I suddenly come across my name, wouldn't it? But it won't be in any of the early issues. I'm pretty sure Scooby-Doo didn't come out until maybe the late 80s. So we've got quite a few to go through yet. I think I have a sneaky suspicion it was a Your Sinclair. I'm hoping it wasn't a Sinclair user magazine that ran the competition, because if it was, I haven't got those printouts yet. So we'll find out though. It's got some articles on Lunajet, man. More competition winners down there. Okay, so back to the reviews. This is what we're here for mostly. We've got The Forest. Again, not a game I'm overly familiar with. Okay, interesting graphics. Has the word depression written on it. Not for sure what that means. Well, obviously I know what depression means, but in terms of gaming, I'm not sure. Okay, put most of that on the screen there. Must be a preview or something, that one, because it doesn't give ratings. So it's a bit of a weird one, that one. Hasn't got any rating. Well, there's another game that features in my 1983 top 10. I think it features in the honourable mentions section. I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely one of my favourite games of the year. In my top, well, if it wasn't in the top 10, it was in the top 15 that I mentioned. So I had multiple systems to do on that one, but definitely one of the better games on the ZX Spectrum. Yeah, they're not giving full ratings on it, because if you see the end of that review there, it says there's obviously a lot more to this game than we have time for here. Oh, so look out for next month's full scale review. There you go. But after a quick preview, the general feeling in the office was an overall rating well into the 90s for this one. Quite a simple premise for Attic Attack. Let me know in the comments if you've played it, if you've beaten it. I never managed to beat it, but basically you would run around trying to find keys for the doors. You were looking for parts, trying not to get hit. Every time you got hit by something, your life would disintegrate. And I think, if I remember correctly, your life was represented by like a roast chicken or something, and it starts to slowly evaporate and like turn into bones. And when it all goes, that's it, the end of your life. It's a strange premise, but you know, it's basically what I can remember. Anyway, you could take a look here. I've got a little bit of gameplay footage for you. So yeah, I hope you like the look of that. It's a fun game. If you've never played it before, definitely I would recommend checking that out. It looks like we're going to get the full review in the next issue, so I'm not going to dwell too much longer on it. Probably should have included the gameplay footage on the next video, thinking about it, but we're here now, we'll do it now. If I do repeat the gameplay footage, I do apologise. Okay, Corridors of Gehenna. I don't think I'm aware of this one. Yeah, we're back into full reviews again now. 72% on this one. I'm not going to dwell for ages. There's a screenshot for you if you need it. Obviously, I'll only be putting footage up for select games that I remember playing and everything else. So let's have a little look. Oh, this is an advert for Ultimates games. Wow, I mean, all of them are classics, aren't they? I've played that one. I've played that one. I've played that one. I've played that one. Obviously, I was just talking about that one, and of course Jetpack, another classic. For the VIC-20 up there. Yeah, I mean, Ultimate were one of the most popular and most successful games producers in the 80s. They were flying throughout the 80s. So I would say chances are, if you've played the ZX Spectrum, you're well aware of Ultimate games. You've got Sabre Wharf, Underworld, the two other ones that aren't up there as well. So let's have a little look. Right, I don't think I'm familiar with any of these games again. River Rescue. Yeah, Thorny MI is not really a company I associate with gaming either. Again, you may know these yourself, so I'll scroll through slowly. We'll spit that out so you can look at it. 74%, very good, reasonably addictive. That was for River Rescue. And sorry, for Road Racer, 69.5%. We could have just rounded that up, couldn't they, really? Good. Okay. A car game with no motor noise. It says sound poor, why no motor noise? That's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? guess they couldn't figure out how to do it. Blockade Runner, again, not familiar. That's got 62.5% by the looks of things. Got all your review on there, so we'll go down to Gold Rush, 63%. Again, not familiar with Gold Rush. There's a thorny in my advert here. What do we got? Yeah, look at those. There's all the cases for them. Yeah, not in any way familiar with that. Oh, we've got more here. Volcanic Planet, 69%. Yeah, I've got all your reviewing for you just in case. Oh, mummy. Okay, and that's all the reviewing for that one too. Obviously, like I said, if you want to reread the review, I don't want to be, you know, judgmental on anybody's taste in games. We all have different tastes. If you know these games and you loved them as a kid, just pause the video if you want to see them. You know, just because I'm not familiar. See, if I'm not familiar with a game, I don't feel like I've got the right to talk about it and sort of say, you know, that looks rubbish or whatever. You know, if I've not played it, I can't possibly tell. You won't know if a game's good until you play it, will you? That actually looks quite interesting, the Tutankhamun one now. Look, 69% anyway on the old mummy one. Just notice that. This one's by Micromania. Scroll through. And there we go. 71.5%. They should knock the 0.5% off. They're a bit silly. Either round up or round down. Don't do 0.5%. It seems a bit stupid. Look at me telling them what to do. A magazine that came out 25 years ago, and I'm sitting there going, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. 25 years ago? I can't even add up. 35 years ago. Wow. I wish it was 25 years ago. That means I'd be 10 years younger. Subchase. Well, that doesn't look like it was a very good game according to them anyway. Again, I haven't played it, so I can't really judge. 48.5%. Okay, now we're backing out of reviews again for a few pages looking at that, so continue on 41. So let's have a look at some of the adverts. The Wrath of Magra. Not familiar with that. There you go. Old Mummy. Subchase. They took him their due. They did pretty well with that Crash, didn't they? By the look of it, I mean, at least from this first issue, they did kind of put the adverts for the games near the reviews. That's quite a clever thing to do, actually. Never would have noticed that as a kid. Spectrum Games, free post service, free catalogue with first order. Oh, okay, so you could order games with some whoever's magazine this was filled it in as Joe Block. That's original, isn't it? I like the way they nearly wrote their address on there, and then they thought, well, better not. Oh no, it's actually part of the advert. Oh, forgive me, I can be so stupid sometimes. Yeah, obviously that must be the advert. I thought someone had actually started filling it in and just ripped out that bit, but yeah, okay. Oh dear, it's been a long day, and it's going to get very long for me soon because I've got to go to work in a few hours, so... What have we got here? Shoot 'em up, Invaders, Galaxians. Okay, means nothing to me again. Oh, it's oh, I see. This is one of their articles. So it'd probably be like a game preview or something. If I'll zoom out on that so you can get the whole thing in. Yeah, I'm assuming this must be what was on the front cover. I would imagine this must be the cover article. I'm not going to go through it because it's just too much. And like I said, we'll be here till doomsday if I go through all of this. But I'll scroll through slowly enough that you can have a read of that if you feel like it. Back to the review, so I'll zoom in a little bit. Oh, we got here Valhalla. That's a game I'm familiar with. That was like a Thor in Asgard, that sort of thing, that sort of era. It was I think it was set in Asgard and that sort of legend. I read the word legend. I didn't even mean to read that out then. That sort of type of adventure, you know, fantasy, I suppose you would call it, you know. 81.5%. I think I played it on the Commodore 64 actually. Groucho. That's the most expensive game I've seen so far actually. Groucho, £10. Oh no, I'll tell a lie. Valhalla was $14.95. I just didn't even notice it. That's an Automata game. Which is that going to get 66.5? Oh, not great. Rider from Virgin Games. Not overly familiar with that again. 50%. Morris Meets the Bikers. Interesting name. £6. Again, if you want to read this, you'll have to scroll backwards and forwards. 74%. That's not a bad game, by the looks of things. Lunar Crabs. Sounds very strange, to be fair. 61.5. Playable, not very addictive. Okay. And we've got an advert for Durell. I said they did Saboteur, but maybe it was later. Yeah, it probably was a little bit later. Living Guide to Spectrum Software. Oh, we're on this one. A Crash Game of the Month. I'm not sure what they're doing here, whether they're just talking through particular games. Yeah, I suppose they must be just picking out a game and just doing an extended article on it or something. Or maybe they're doing it for all those games down the side there. See, I've got... That's quite a few if that's the case, but they might be going through all of them. Flip through. Yeah, it looks like they're just talking about the selection of games that they've picked there. I'll zoom in so you can read it if you want to read it. Again, I'm not going to dwell too much. It's not many games I recognise actually. But I was 10 years old back in '83, so you know, it's like I was just learning to be a gamer, obviously, you know. Jetpacks, that's one I know for sure. I've already talked about that. What else have we got here? I'm sure Jetpack's going to be reviewed in another issue, so I'm not going to dwell on that one at the moment. Scramble was one I played in various formats. I think quite a few people covered it. Harrier Attack. I think I played Harrier Attack. Zoom, that sounds familiar too. That's an Imagine game. I'm pretty sure I would have played that too. Tutankhamun we've already covered. I didn't play. Froggy. I think we know what that's a clone of, don't we? I wonder how many clones there were of Frogger. Maybe that's a video I should do in the future. Play every Frogger clone out there. Wow, that would be a long video, wouldn't it? Okay, so again, these are various little games. Don't know if they're reviews or... Yeah, it looks like they're more previews. Crazy Balloons I played. I know that. That was a tough one. God, there's a game on there called Doo Doo. Probably not the game you really want to be playing, is it? Again, if you're interested, just pause the video if you want to read any of these particularly. Well, there's a classic right there, Hungry Horace. I mean, the definitive Pac-Man game for Spectrum. Yeah, that was one of the first games that I ever played. I would have thought they'd have a bigger review than that at some point. Monster Muncher. That seems to sound familiar as well. Seems to sound familiar. I don't know if that's proper English, but... Gobble a Ghost. I'm sure that's probably a Pac-Man clone. Yeah, Pac-Man clone, there we go. Oh, is this what this is then? Is this talking about clones? I mean, I can't believe it's taken me this long to figure that out, but yeah, I'm guessing that's what it's doing, and isn't it? It's talking about... Sorry for scrolling back up. Yeah, maze games. So it's talking about particular genres. It's confusing when you read it like this, because obviously you're not reading it. You've not got the whole page in front of you, so you're kind of reading one little bit at a time, and then you're moving on. So now that one's been deleted already. I mean, that game obviously didn't last too long, did it? Yeah. So that's all the Pac-Man clones. You've got platform games here. Barmy Burgers we've already covered. I hadn't played. Digger Dan. I think I might have played that. Godzilla and the Martians. Wow. Kong. Definitely played Kong. Oh, Manic Miner, of course. Best platform game around, they say there. Yeah, I would agree. That's in my top 10 for 1983. Giving so many spoilers away for that video. Might as well just whack it out there now, mightn't I suppose. Panic. I loved Panic. And again, that's in my top games in 1983 too. So, yeah, another spoiler. What we got here? These are creepy crawlies. Caterpillar and caterpillar. Cyber rats. That sounds a bit. I'll say creepy then. Froggers. Finally, we've reached the Froggers. Where we have Frogger and Frogger. Frogger Speckman, Frog Run, Froggy, Road Frog, Road Toad. Road Toad, that's the best one yet. I love Road Toad there, that's great. Jogger. Leapfrog, that's a little bit unoriginal. We've got grid runners and painters at the same time here. Oh, it's to do with Tron. Okay, I was just about to say to you, what the hell's a grid runner? Wow, Tron was out then. It's hard to believe when you watch Tron. Tron holds up very well as a movie. I was watching it only a few weeks ago, funnily enough, and yeah, it's hard to believe it's that old. To be fair. Yeah, so they're more like Tron, yeah, Light Cycle, yeah, they're Tron clones. We've got painters. Wow, this is a big old article, this one, isn't it? See Starship Enterprise over there, so I'm guessing, yeah, we've got Trekkies, there we go. It's very hard because I've got to scroll down to read the left side, then scroll back up to read the middle, scroll back down and scroll. It's a nightmare. I hope I'm doing an okay job. Tell me if there's a better way of doing this if you want to in the comments. I hope I'm covering most of the magazine. I'm only halfway through the magazine at the moment, so you know, I'm trying to go as quick as I can. I don't really want to keep you here for too long. Yeah, there's quite a few games there that I know. What we got on this one? What's Jaws Revenge on there? What category is this then? Have we got a category for this one? Must have been on the other screen. What was that then? Arcade Miscellaneous. Okay, well yeah, that's why it's the biggest category, I suppose. Funny enough, it's got the most games, I think, for like I recognise. I hope I'm not scrolling too fast for everybody. Like I said, you can pause the video if you want to. 3D Tanks, I remember that game. Trans Am, already talked about that. This is why it's got 400 game reviews, isn't it? Because it's got these little ones in there. I thought that was a lot. 10 software. Zoom out a bit. Oh, still going with the guide. Wow. Cards, boards, and gambling. I think you can read that, can't you? I was going to say I should zoom in again. I'm pretty sure you can still read that. I'm not going to dwell on all this. I mean, this is all chess and cardboard games. They're much of a muchness, aren't they, really? Not much different you can do with those. Right, now we're on to sports, which I will take my time on because I love sport games. Okay, so it's my video. I'm allowed to be biased. What have we got here then? I've probably played most of these in my time. Say that, I haven't played any of those. Football Manager, of course. Nebraska Pool, yep. Don't know if I played the Virgin Golf game. I wish we had screenshots. Bug Bite Pool, I think I played back in the day. CDS Pool, I definitely played. So go across. Everest Ascent. I think I played that too. Everest Ascent. I'm sure I did. I think I remember playing that on the Commodore 64. Strange game, yeah. But we used to have a lot of fun playing it. Star Soccer I don't recognise. Snooker possibly played. Definitely played Test Match. Yeah, that was cool. Dallas. Oh, it's just now we're into the strategy. I didn't think some of these ones on the right fitted in with sports. It's strategy games on the right side now. So we've got Airline, Apocalypse, Dallas, Dictator, General Election. I don't think I've played any of these. Possibly General Election. Don't know. But I might be getting confused with the Yes Prime Minister game that they bought out. Yeah, don't know many of these. Oh, there must be adventure games. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, these are adventure games. Black Crystal, Colossal Caves. No, don't know any of them either. Sorry, I'm going way too fast now. I apologise. Gosh, what's that on there? That's not adventure, is it? No, there's still be adventure games. Okay. as we started a new category down here. Hobbit, played that. Again, Commodore 64. Again, does feature in my top 10. So, more spoilers. Maybe I should stop talking about that, really. I'm not sure if it's ever going to get released, so I might be talking about nothing in particular. We've got more here. Wow. No wonder there's 400 reviews in here. Oh, my mouth's getting dry now. I'm doing way too much talking. Easiest way to buy software you will find. Okay, well, easier than going to a shop and buying it. Oh, any of the software reviewed in this issue of Crash may be ordered by mail. That's really cool, isn't it? I like that. I wonder how long it would take to turn up. Pay by checks or postal orders. That's actually very cool. That'd be why they gave prices then, I guess. Not only as a guide, but the fact that you could order the games. Very cool system. I like that. Considering, you know, you didn't have internet back then, so you couldn't do internet shopping. So this was about as close as it got. I remember we did order some games through the post, but they were generally speaking not mainstream games. They were like football management games that were made by independent companies and stuff. We got a few through the post, like European football managers and stuff. They were really good fun games, actually. Vote for... Oh, you're voting for the top 20 games. Okay, that's pretty cool. Got a list there. You could ring up and vote for your favourite game. Interesting way of doing it. Or you could write in, my top 5 favourite programs are... That's very cool. There we go, Crash Quiz. I'm not even going to go over that. Which game would you expect to see a Thyregodian Mega Chrysanthandol? Who was the Manic Miner? Well, we should all know that one. Miner Willie, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a few there. Colonel Custard made a guest appearance in what game? Not a clue. It's a bit of a piss take on Cluedo, I can tell that. Anyway, if anyone wants to answer all them questions in the comments, feel free. I don't know the answers to them though. There we go. So you can subscribe obviously to the magazine. Win £100 in, I'm guessing that's going to say software. Become a regular games reviewer for Crash magazine. Now if I'd been old enough, yeah, I would have loved to have done that. How cool. Pick 3 games from the list below and write a full-scale review, not more than 500 words and not more than not less than 500 and more than 900. And there you go. 3 of these. See, I could review Jetpack, The Hobbit. Is that it? No, you've got more down there. Okay. I could do Football Manager as well. What else we got here? None of those ones. Yeah, well, I got me 3 anyway, so there we go. Here's the article about Brer Rabbit, which again I am not going to read. I don't even know what it could be about. I'll give you a zoom out for you. There you go. So you can cover the whole article. If you want to pause it and scroll backwards and forwards, feel free. We've got the ape in Leicestershire, so that's a different story. Thank God, because I didn't think Brer Rabbit and a wild ape really went together. Got more games profiles there. It's all the games that were in the same advert again. I don't know any of them, so I'm going to move along and back to reviews. Thank God. I didn't think we were ever going to get back to game reviews. Here we go. Galactic Warriors. Not a game I'm overly familiar with. 67%. So not, according to them, a great game anyway. Gangsters, CCS. I have a funny feeling I may have played that one. Let's go back to the top. I'm going to scroll down for you. Sounds vaguely familiar to me. 58.5%, so it's not a great game, according to them. Brain Damage. Not thinking I've played that one. 69%. I have a screenshot down here. Oh, no, it's a screenshot of another one, sorry. Okay, Grand Prix driver. Where's the thing for that? 55%. Yeah, it doesn't look the best, does it? That car. It doesn't look. I mean, for its time, I guess. Oh, I've got a very dry throat. I wasn't expecting this video to take so long, to be fair with you. I hope you're not bored. I really hope you're not. I'm not bored. I'm loving it. I absolutely adore this magazine, so going through it is a joy for me. We've got 3D Space Wars there, but it doesn't look like the review ends because it goes on to another one, which is a bit weird. Yeah, looks like we don't get a rating on 3D Space Wars. I apologise if you're into that one. That's a bit strange though, isn't it? I don't know what happened to that. Have we missed a page? 75 there. Oh, there's no page number there. Maybe it's the way they've scanned it. Maybe they've forgotten to scan one of the pages. Well, I apologise for that. Obviously, it's not my fault. That could be the end of it there, maybe. So yeah, that might be it. Because we had a review for that one. So I'd say that's the 3D space one there. It looks like it, doesn't it? What have we got here? Transversion. Okay. I just knocked over my remote control there. Right. Have a little look. Okay. Don't know what games these are. What company is this then? Abacus Programs. Yeah, not familiar with many of those. Again, if you are, let me know in the comments what they were like. CCS. I don't think I know them either. I definitely played some CCS games in my time, but maybe not those ones. So this is very early on in my computer gaming life, shall we say. So I wasn't really overly familiar with every game. I think when you're 10 years old you're not, but sometimes you do go back and revisit some of the classics. Sometimes you never play them, so there might be a few on here that I should really revisit, maybe for the nostalgia half hour at some point. Armageddon. 68%. Average. Oh, it looks like a Missile Command clone. Does it say that anywhere? I'm not seeing Missile Command mentioned, but it certainly looks like Missile Command, doesn't it? If you're familiar with that. What have we got here? Carnell Software. Oh, it's this advert again. Oh, we got that twice. That's a bit weird. Push off. How rude. 85%. Oh, that's a good review, isn't it? Doom Bugs. 67%. Wild West Hero. What has that got to do with the Wild West? 82%. Oh, okay, fair enough then. Interesting. Might be worth a check out at some point. What have we got here? 7 Software. Micro Mega. Oh, we got, is this the one? These are the people who do Death Chase. Yeah, see, look, they've put Death Chase in their advert. That's what I mean. See, some people call it 3D Death Chase. Some people don't. They've got 3D there, but then when they write the title of the game up there, they just write Death Chase. So, I don't know. It's very confusing. This is an article again, so I will just scroll down it very slowly so you can pause it and have a look. Lloyd Mangren takes a brief and personal glance over his shoulder at some of the software antics of the past year. So there you go, it's kind of a review of 1983, basically the year before this magazine came out. Okay, I'll just scroll through it so you can read it. give you a chance to pause it wherever you want to and have a read. And I appreciate that it's difficult, obviously, because you'll have to go backwards and forwards if you want to keep reading up the columns. It's a shame they write it that way. They should have just written straight down the page, but I guess this was the style of the time. Wow, funny how the pages change colour, isn't it? Look at that. That one's pristine. If I had more time, I would read through it, because that would probably be very interesting. I won't read through it at my own leisure, obviously, but for the purposes of this, I cannot possibly. Right, here we go. Lunar Jetman. Now, this is a game everybody's probably familiar with. I'm going to scroll down and scroll back up. I'm going to help you read all this one, because this is a classic. Look at the marks. 90% use of computer, 99 graphics, 95 playability, 90 getting started, 95 addictive, value for money 100%. Yeah, £5.50 is a very good price. 95% overall. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's put a little bit of gameplay footage in there then for you. So there we go, you can see exactly what that game's like if you want to check it out for yourself. What's this one we're doing here? I didn't even notice. Fire Flash, okay. 78%, pretty good. I don't think I'm familiar with that, off the top of my head anyway. Splat. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? 81.5% for that one though. So just go to the bottom so you can get all the review in there. Have a little read at your leisure again if you want to. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I love the way they spell that. Oh, do you know we're trying to avoid copyright or something? Don't see any reason otherwise to spell it like that. 65%. Hawks and Lord Harry and Lady Harriet. Yeah, not familiar with either one of these. Hawks looks like it pulled in 75%. And the other one, 62.5. Not the best, I suppose. According to Crash. The train game. Well, that looks like you're running a railway line or something. The 8:15 from Brian is just arriving at platform 4, it says on the screenshot. Wow. 75.5%. Not the worst game in the world then. Vampire Village. Not familiar. Really sound like I don't know anything about gaming. But this is a year, obviously, like I said, where being 10 years old, I probably didn't get overly familiar with the games. I've got Plug It. 62.5. Oh, we're back to Yellow Pages again. The Oracle's Cave. This has got a big review, so I'm assuming this was a good game. Scroll down, scroll down. 70%. Okay. Maziacs. It's getting 82%. Okay. Highly recommended. Not familiar with it myself again. Exterminator. Back to White Pages again. 82.5%. Very good. That looks like that Western game though. Don't get it. Oh, I don't know. Might just be very similar graphically. Hunter Killer. That sounds like that submarine or something. Yeah. I can see rudder angle and torpedoes there in the review. So what did that get? 61%. 3 Deep Space. 44%. That might be the lowest review yet. Poor. Apologies if you like that game. Now we've got an article on that, the Wrath of the Magra. I've seen it twice in adverts. There you go. Pause that for you for a second. Scroll down and give you the rest of the article, hopefully. I'll zoom out a little bit for you for that one so we can get the whole thing in. There we go, got the whole thing in now, that's good. Plus a couple of the people that designed it. I was about to say nerds. And then not in an offensive way, because I like being a nerd. I know I'm a nerd. Actually, I wear it as a badge of honour. 48% for Robber. Not familiar with that again. Sometimes it would help, I think, if they put the shot of the cover art on the reviews, because I'd probably remember it then. Quetzalcoatl. Okay, 56% anyway. Not the best. Tracks. Tracks, where are we? 61%. Bonkers. Yeah, I don't think it was a dirty game. Yeah, it's not bonkers as some people would remember it from the Carry On era. What we got? Bedlam and Admiral Graf Spee. Don't know that one. Bedlam got good reviews. Admiral Graf, whatever, not so much. Grid Runner, that's one I'm familiar with, name wise anyway. Wow, 46.5%, not good review. Cyber Tanks, 58%. Micro Speech, that's the ZX Spectrum talk. Wow. I wonder. Look at you had to type in. Let S something equal meh in brackets double R in brackets double E Christmas KRISMUS. We'll say Merry Christmas. Wow, look, all these games use the sound thing, but I mean, come on, who makes this Curra? Is it Curra who makes this thing? Are they the company? Because if you're going to use a game in your advert to advertise it, Attic Attack, look at that. That is not how you spell it. It's totally wrong. It's ATIC, and I believe it's ATK or ATC. Ridiculous. And if you're going to use a game in your advert, surely you've got to get the spelling right. Absolute joke. Apologies, my phone's beeping away in the background. Don't know any of those. The Terminal Man. Oh look, it's a comic. Wow. That's pretty cool, isn't it? They have a comic within the magazine. Is this about a game? No, I don't know. You can have a little look and see. Okay. That's very cool though, isn't it? To include a comic in there. Last page in black and white for some reason. Oh, find out next month. There you go. It will drive you bonkers. There you go. So it's not a sex game. Didn't think it would be for 1 second. And I believe this is the last page. From Silversoft. What does it even... Oh, it's a load of games. Okay. Didn't even say one game. I didn't think it did. Okay, guys. So there we are. That is a little look through February 1984's edition of Crash Magazine. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's not been too boring. I hope the screen images, the gameplay images have broken it up a little bit for you. If there's any way you think I can improve this section, then please let me know. I mean, with the Argos catalogue one, I only went through about 20 pages. This felt like a long slog, so I hope it's not been too long for you guys. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you think I could do better, and I will try and improve it for next one. Okay guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next video. Bye for now.